Hello everyone, and welcome to the tavern. It must be a day that ends in Y, because WotC is caught in yet another controversy. I'm actually surprised I haven't covered this subject already when it comes to Wizards of the Coast. After all, they have gotten in trouble for plagiarism in the past. However, between the multiple AI art scandals, sending thugs after someone because they got a set of cards early, and members of the D&D side of WotC showing their racist colors by talking negatively about mixed-race people, there tends to be so much to cover when it comes to Wizards of the Coast and their horrible behavior that some stories slip through the cracks. However, this one caught my eye, but it doesn't seem like it's being spread around too much. So let's talk about Wizards of the Coast and their newest plagiarism scandal. I like to point out that a lot of my information comes from two sources, Plagiarism Today and Wargamer.com. It would take too long to go through every single account of plagiarism for Wizards of the Coast. What's most important to know as background is that the most recent allegations come from 2023 and 2021, when artists stole assets from various fan works. Both of those artists were fired by WotC after everything was discovered. This is in addition to the various AI artwork projects they have, which, for those who don't know, AI doesn't actually create new art. It actually takes various art assets and remixes them in new ways to create something original. I hope you could hear my quote fingers of that. Thus, in its own way, AI can be a plagiarism tool if what is produced ends up taking from other things more blatantly than just, say, rendering some background materials or creating a hand with too many fingers. The point I'm trying to make is that Wizards has gotten in trouble or been involved with plagiarism and plagiarism-adjacent activities in the past. And frankly, this is no surprise to me, and anyone who's been paying attention to Wizards and their behavior over the years is probably not surprised either. That being said, we shouldn't just consider this yet another plagiarism case, because there's some interesting things here that need to be explored. The initial posting about the plagiarism came in a Reddit post, which discovered that there's artwork in the card Trouble in Pairs, which is part of the Murders at Karlov Manor set, which came out in February, where the artist, Faye Dalton, blatantly tracing artwork done by Donato Giancola. Now, it should be noted that Giancola has worked for Wizards in the past and created several Magic of the Gathering cards. The artwork in question comes from a 1995 work called The Ravagers, which was a Cyberpunk 2020 tie-in. When you look at it, it becomes really obvious really fast how a character got morphed into a different character. Currently, there's been no statement by Wizards of the Coast, and no punishment, as far as we know, for Dalton. However, Giancola has started talking with a lawyer about a potential lawsuit. The big problem here is that he doesn't actually own the original artwork. It is owned by the company who owns Cyberpunk 2020. But that might not be an issue, because I don't think one of WotC's competitors would mind taking a shot at WotC. The Cyberpunk IP isn't quite what it used to be, outside of a video game that had some decent popularity. If they did sue WotC, it would give them recognition amongst the tabletop community, which could lead to more sales and growth of the Cyberpunk IP. I think this will probably be settled outside of court when WotC writes a check over to either Giancola or the rights holders of the artwork. One of the speculations in the Plagiarism Today article is that there are aspects of the artwork that look a little odd and might be the result of utilizing an AI art program. However, the article also points out, and I agree, that jumping to conclusions without proof is not a good idea, but it is something to think about due to the obscurity of the traced material. When further revelations come out as to how all this happened, it will be interesting to see if this was a choice or an accident caused by an AI program. This becomes even more strange when you realize that Dalton has been doing art for quite some time now. This isn't some Johnny-come-lately, hired off of Tumblr with no experience person. This is someone who's done comic book covers, previous Magic the Gathering projects, as well as art for a lot of different companies. It brings up a big question that's been bothering me since I read this article. Why would an experienced artist do something that could potentially threaten your entire career? Whether this was tracing or using an AI art generator and then adding your own personal touches, either way, if you're an artist and you get caught doing that, it brings all your artwork into question, which makes me wonder if Faye Dalton has done other types of plagiaristic works in the past. I get the feeling that as this story progresses, we're going to find out more and more about potential art ethics violations that Dalton has done, because it seems unlikely that after years of doing various art projects, this is the one where you risk your career over a card. Odds are it's something Dalton has been doing for a long time, but without any evidence, without any proof, that's merely my speculation as to the ethical standings of this artist. That all being said, I'd like to give Dalton the benefit of the doubt and hope that this was a one-time mistake that doesn't end her entire career. First-time violation or nth-time violation? Either way, we'll find out in the near future. The sad thing is, this feels like this is just the tip of the iceberg. We've already seen the AI works used for various promotional things and the Glory of the Giants book, but having a better-known artist use these kind of techniques definitely brings two questions to mind. First, the treatment these artists are receiving by WotC that might force them to have to use less time-consuming techniques in order to get the work done when it's needed. And two, how many more people working for WotC are using these kind of techniques, but maybe are hiding them just a little bit better. We're going to have so many stories over the next few years of Wizards of the Coast and their staff cutting corners in order to produce their products as fast as possible. And as they do that, it will reduce the quality of the product as a whole, which, let's face facts, helps the case of those of us fighting against Wizards of the Coast and other tabletop companies that treat their customers like crap. Last year, we saw that Wizards started to lose money and only held together because of the popularity of Baldur's Gate 3 and a couple major card packs. This year, we're definitely going to be seeing them taking bigger hits because the odds of 6th edition becoming highly popular after all the controversy that led into it is very low. And the constant controversies we're finding about the various card packs that Wizards has released will probably hurt customer loyalty more than anything else. Still, it's good to know there are many of us out there fighting the good fight, because if we stand together and we make our voices known, we can win, and we will win. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and share this video with anyone else who needs to be updated on the current status of Wizards of the Coast and their ethical violations. I hope you have fun out there playing your favorite games, and if you come across a new game that's really good, let me know in the comments. Until next time, thank you for watching, and I'll see you at the tavern.